When I was a kid, the disaster we worried about most was a nuclear war. That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement, filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes. Now, part of the reason for this is that we have invested a huge amount in nuclear deterrence, but we have actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We are not ready for the next epidemic. Let's look at Ebola. I'm sure all of you read about it in the newspaper. Lot of challenges. I pull it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all. In fact, there are some pretty obvious key missing pieces. We didn't have a group of epidemiologists ready to go who would have gone, seen what the disease was, see how far it had spread. The case report came in on paper. It was very delayed before they were put online and they were extremely inaccurate. We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way of preparing people. Now, Medicine Sans Frontiers did a great job orchestrating volunteer, but even so, we were far slower than we should have been getting the thousands of workers into these countries. And a large epidemic will require us to have hundreds of thousands of workers. There was no one there to look at treatment approaches, no one to look at the diagnostic, no one to figure out what tools should be used. As an example, we could have taken the blood of survivors, processed it, and put the plasma back in people to protect them, but that was never tried, so there was a lot that was missing. And these things are really a global failure. The WHO is funded to monitor epidemics, but not to do these things I talk about. Now, in the movies, it's quite different. There's a group of handsome epidemiologists ready to go. They move in, they save the day, but that's just pure Hollywood. The failure to prepare could allow the next epidemics to be dramatically more devastating than Ebola. Let's look at the progression of Ebola over this year. About 10,000 people died, and nearly all were in the three West African countries. There's three reasons why it didn't spread more. There was a lot of heroic work by the health workers. They found the people and they prevented more infections. The nature of the virus, Ebola, does not spread through the air, and by the time you are contagious, most people are so sick that they are bedridden. It didn't get into many urban areas, and that was just luck. If it had gotten into a lot more urban areas, the case number would have been much larger. So, next time we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market. The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be a bioterrorism. And so there are things that would literally make things 1,000 times worse. In fact, let's look at a model of virus spread through the air like the Spanish flu back in 1980. So here's what would happen. It would spread throughout the world very quickly. And you can see there's over 30 million people die from that epidemic. So this is a serious problem. We should be concerned, but in fact, we can put a really good response system. We have the benefits of all the science and technology that we talk about here. We have got cell phones to get information from the public and get information out to them. We have satellite maps where we can see where people are and where they are moving. We have advances in biology that should dramatically change the turnaround time to look at the pathogen and be able to make drugs and vaccine that fit for that pathogen. So we can have tools, but those tools need to be put into an overall global health system, and we need preparedness. The best lesson I think on how to get prepared are, again, what we do for war. For soldiers, we have full-time waiting to go. We have reservists that can scale us up to large number. NATO has a mobile unit that can deploy very rapidly. NATO does a lot of war games to check our people were trained. Do they understand about fuel or logistic and the same radio frequencies? So they are absolutely ready to go. So those are the kinds of things we need to deal with an epidemic. What are the key pieces? First is we need strong health system in poor countries. That's where mother can keep her safely, kids can get all their vaccine, but also where we will see the outbreak very early on. We need a medical reserve corps. A lot of people who have got the training and background who are ready to go with the expertise. We need to pair those medical people with the military, taking advantage of the military ability to move past to logistic and secure areas. We need to do simulation, current games, not word games, so that we see where the holes are. The last time a current games was done in the United States was back in 2001, and it didn't go so well. So far, the score in Kerms 1, people 0. Finally, we need a lot of advanced R&D in areas of vaccine and diagnostic. There are some big breakthroughs, like the genome-associated virus that could work very quickly. No, I don't have an exact budget for what this will cost, but I'm quite sure it's very modest compared to the potential harm. The World Bank estimates that if we have a worldwide flu epidemics, global wealth will go down by over $3 trillion. And we have millions and millions of debt. This investment offers significantly benefits beyond just being ready for the epidemic. The primary healthcare, the R&D, those things would reduce global health equity and make the world more just as well as more safe. So I think this should be absolutely be a priority. There's no need to panic. We don't have to hoard cans of spaghetti or go down into the basement. But we need to get going because time is not on our side. In fact, if there's one positive thing that can come out of the Ebola epidemic, It's that it can serve as an early warning, a wake-up call to get ready. If we start now, we can be ready for the next epidemic. Thank you.